35,000 people come home from prison every year in the state of California. 54% of them go back. That's more than half. We're talking $133,800 per person per year. The prison industrial complex is a booming business. Crime harms our community. The ripple effect of crime spreads out far beyond anything that we can track or have data tracking. Now, if we look at our homelessness crisis, 75%, that's 3/4, have a criminal record. There's a big correlation.
This is the INNOVAT Podcast. I'm the host, Ted Hahs, and the INNOVAT Podcast is all about the intersection of innovation and social impact, which I believe is the most exciting phase. I believe is the destiny of the Bay Area. We have two forces converging, and you'll get this. We are known for innovation. This was science fiction not that long ago.
Right?
Right?
Same here.
Yes, and now we have a supercomputer on our wrist that can beat the smartest human ever at chess, this little tiny device.
It's
Not
really remarkable.
handstand, okay? We also, and that's all come out of the Bay Area, and the wealth we've created is unprecedented. NVIDIA hit $4 trillion.
It's kind of scary.
There's only 5 countries that have a higher GDP than that one company.
I know.
Okay. Simultaneously, during the same period, we've gone the opposite way at how we address the poor and the vulnerable. We're really bad at that. But what if those two were meant to intersect? I believe that's the next forefront. If we can bring innovation to the problems that matter most. So that's why I'm so excited to talk to you. I just learned about CROP not that long ago when you shared here. And you are an organization founded by lived experience experts.
Yep.
And you are doing a really good job of reimagining, you just aligning the reentry population. So why don't you introduce yourself and talk about CROP?
My name is Terah Lawyer. I am the president at CROP organization. Really an organization that reimagines reentry and is very solution oriented. So we know that the reentry system is broken, but we don't really want to highlight the brokenness of it. We want
You
to
say we know.
we, meaning
I think everybody knows.
I think it's pretty common knowledge that we are not hitting the mark on successful reentry systems.
If
We have
any of our audience are still in that place thinking naively, like maybe
I'll just throw some numbers your way.
Yeah, throw some numbers.
35,000 people come home from prison every year in the state of California. 54% of them go back. That's more than half
That's within how many years?
within the first year.
I had heard
And on average at 5 years per return. And we're talking $133,800 per person per year
1,000.
cost to the state.
What was the number again?
$133,800 per person return.
You have a number for the Bay Area?
I do not have a number for the
bet
Bay Area.
you the
This
Bay
is
Area-
statewide. It's probably more expensive, but
Oh,
I'm
it's definitely more
what I'm
expensive.
referring to is the state of California. It costs
Yeah. To
$133,800
incarcerate one
to
individual 1
incarcerate.
year on average in
right.
California. In the Bay Area, it's
That's right.
probably double that. We don't have numbers. I've heard up to 300,000, which would make sense.
I mean, it's no.
twice as much to live here as it is in the Central Valley.
The prison industrial complex is a booming business. And there's a lot of
the same price as an Ivy League education or more expensive.
very much so. The one private, university here in California costs more. And something's wrong. And it's not so much around what do you do with individuals that commit crime? Crime harms our community. We know this. The ripple effect of crime spreads out far beyond anything that we can track or have data tracking. So we have to figure out a way to teach people how to lead life without crime. But we know the one common denominator is poverty. And most of individuals committing crimes are trying to make ends meet, and they're in survival mode, and they go to criminal thinking. That's not always the case. We know there's other individuals in other brackets of demographics that commit crimes when their emotions are heightened. And I'm here to tell you, as a formerly incarcerated woman who was locked up at the age of 18 and spent 15 years inside of the world's largest women's prison, I have seen all walks of life, from professors to scientists to stay at home moms, all in these different life paths that led to prison, some of which didn't even live a life of crime, but in a heightened emotional moment, and they made a catastrophic choice. So I'm here to tell you, no one goes to prison as their healthiest self. Something's broken, something's amiss, something's not healed, and poor choices are made. Terrible choices are made. Maybe self-centered choices are made.
So zooming back out to the big picture,
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
it costs a lot to incarcerate individuals. California's incarcerating more than anyone else in the state. America
Fact.
incarcerates more than any other nation ever, not just now.
Yeah, not to mention how much we love to lock up children.
Yeah, okay.
This is going to be an 8 segment. This is going to be
You're in a return guest. Yes. Okay. And it costs a lot. Status quo costs a lot. Very, very expensive. And the rates of fail, you'd mentioned 50%. I have heard it in terms of 80%, I think is more years.
Yeah, you start bracking things out,
Yeah.
but on average, well,
We have a fail.
constant.
We're failing. Okay. We're spending all this money and it's a revolving door system. And what are we getting? And crime rates you would think would be going down. And that's not really the case. There's not a correlation between
Yeah.
them. Okay.
So another layer to
What-
that, I would say, Ted, is prevention. Now we think about the homelessness crisis in the state of California, even specifically here in the Bay Area. Our unhoused population is almost in comparison to our top 1%ers.
There's a monumental breakthrough. Did I share with you? Have I talked to you about my friend Adrian Tirtonati?
No.
Okay, he just presented today. Groundbreaking study right here in San Francisco that demonstrates that unequal access to justice, it's a total different paradigm. It's taken us a hard time. I'm a fast processor to really understand the implications of it. It shows that unequal access to justice is a major driver of homelessness, and providing access to justice is the by far the lowest cost bang for your buck intervention to prevent it. And prevention is 10x, 20x less than just servicing people homeless
Yeah.
on the streets. Okay.
Yeah.
That's another major paradigm shift that we need to do. But,
Yeah.
So I want to talk, I want to get back to all this and go in depth of your story and how you got here. But say, what is CROP and what do you guys do so well?
Yeah, CROP stands for Creating Restorative Opportunities and Programs, founded inside of prison. It was incarcerated at one point in time, the organization itself.
Wow.
Introduced by the
Okay.
founder.
I knew it was founded by incarcerated. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm connecting the dots because I
Yeah.
heard your founder. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
dreaming about this while they were incarcerated.
And really just looking at, especially in the male facilities, the prison politics are very racially charged. And so there's a lot of segregation and division based on the color of our skin. And they really thought about how can we unify and create harmony inside of
Two
this prison.
co-founders, right? Who
Correct.
were segregated
So
racially.
we have a total of 4 founders, 5 if you depending on different phases of the organization, but essentially the organization was created to introduce sort of sports equipment and musical instruments inside, because that by theory it's like, how can you hate someone who you plays sports with, or
About you guys.
you serve
I'm remembering.
yeah.
I think I heard about you guys back in the day before I spilled coffee all over myself. No, I remember hearing about you when I was playing in prison. That
think
somebody was
so, yeah.
raising money for someone was raising money for
A young man.
instruments.
Oh yeah, instruments and sports
That was would
equipment.
that have been in San Quentin or related to San
No, this was in Solano.
Okay, it might have been a different group, but
Soledad.
I remember hearing something about
Soledad.
Soledad.
Yeah, we're in so many prisons at this point in time, I'm losing track.
Well, you need to be in 35 in California.
We do. Absolutely. So essentially, the organization, was incarcerated. And while the organization was incarcerated, there was a lot of great work happening inside rehabilitative programs, AOD certifications, and so on, personal
What's this
leadership
AOT?
development, alcohol or other drug certifications, so substance abuse treatment counselors, so to speak. Hmm.
So you're talking about they were getting certified as
That's correct.
counselors?
Inside.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So a lot of activities
So
took
not
place.
just certified that they're off of them,
Right.
certified that they're counselors to help others. Oh, that's
Exactly.
cool.
Our signature curriculum, personal leadership development, was born as well inside. And so you fast forward to, over a decade of work gone inside. And by, the universe or whatever you would call it, all four of them come home within a 1 year period.
What year was this?
2020, in the height of COVID. And so they found themselves asking, well, what do we do best, guys? We do great on in-prison programming. Let's go back inside. And COVID was like, you're not going anywhere, much leaving your house, going into prison. And so it forced them to really look at their current environment, which was the reentry space as they're in their first 6 months of returning home. And they were like, whoa, this is very siloed. And they essentially came up with a very audacious, revolutionary model for reentry that was like so holistic in nature. It was something that we couldn't find. So it was a blue ocean. There was nothing that anyone was doing in one particular location. And what I mean by that,
Everyone was doing a bit of it, but no one was doing all of it.
exactly. And what I mean by that is me coming home from prison. I am going to need to go to probably about 10 to 15 different service providers just to get my needs met, to reacclimate and reintegrate. So I'm going to need transportation, clothing, food, housing, job training, maybe resume building, career coaching, case management, maybe some mental health. I mean, there's so many things that people have to do. We wonder why they fall through the cracks and end up recidivating because it's hard to navigate. And especially if you get
Beyond
locked
hard.
up.
Okay, it's beyond hard to navigate. It is so hard that
It's
the
designed not to navigate.
well, systems thinking is by that any system has been ideally designed to do exactly what it's doing.
I
So yes, so of course, whether it's designed intentionally or not,
know. Mhm.
it is not just we have a fragmented system, deeply divided, and a person, and we we deliver services, but the person navigating them, it's so hard that social service providers who are professionals
Yes.
don't even know what's out there. It's difficult for them to navigate it, and it's their job to hold people's hands.
Yeah.
So it's really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we think about that particular piece, we can then begin to step back and say, what could have helped my personal journey coming home from prison a little bit more seamless in that transition? And we recognize absolutely people need supportive services, they need housing, they need workforce development, they need career upskilling, not just entry level job placement, and they need long term housing solutions, not to mention a network full of peer minded folks that could help them guide them and coach them along their way. They need personal leadership development to build out their confidence again and not bring forward or bring with them back into the community sort of those underlining messages that our institutions teach people. You're less than, you don't have any power to choose, you need to be silenced and then ostracized and put aside because NIMBYism is real and we don't want you to be our neighbor. Well, the fact is 35,000 people come home from prison
Yeah,
every
that's
year.
what in cue ball. They the documentary about the basketball program that I was a part
Mm,
of in San Quentin. They opened it with a interview of the warden,
mm.
and he said something that really stuck with me. He says they're coming back.
Yeah.
Okay,
What kind of neighbor do you want?
what kind of neighbor you want? Okay, we can't incarcerate them all forever, you know, and they're coming back. So what type of neighbor do you want? Yep.
What kind of neighbor
and
do
the
you?
whole thing should be rehabilitation
Yeah.
and
And we think
reintegration.
about reentry just like we think about health. Health is holistic, right? So we're built up of all these components: mental, physical, emotional, social. If one component of your health fails, it will have an effect on all the other components of your health. The same goes for reentry. We can't just say all formerly incarcerated people need is housing.
So you have an integrated approach.
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to meet Kathy Chow Rothberg yet? I
I
made an
have not.
introduction. You guys are gonna meet, right?
I
Didn't
think
know?
we are. I think we need to.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to deepen some of these
That was
connections.
another major paradigm shift so she's doing it. Your model is so similar, but they evolved Lao family community development.
That's right.
Her
Big
family,
fans.
yes, her family were like the second or third refugees after the Vietnam War from the secret war in Laos. Their family had helped America, so they had to flee.
Yep.
They came here, start with nothing, rebuild their lives. She was like 3, you know. So then when their friend, you know, when other people came over, they just started helping them.
Wow.
And that evolved and they got really good at helping refugees resettle. So then, you know, then coming from the Laos family of nations, the next step was to help people from any nation that are coming here. So, you know, the next wave of refugees. Well, then somewhere along the line, they just opened up their doors to whoever needed service. But it's like reentry, you know, it's a different paradigm at looking at the problem. Okay. They see a homeless person or a reentry person as a refugee, not of a war, but it might have been for them. It's their own personal war.
Yep.
They're completely devastated. And it's about restoring that person and it's about reintegrating them into society. And
100%.
they have a stellar track record at it, similar to the numbers you guys are getting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most people, so you have this integrated approach
Yeah. I think
and it's
it's
centered around the person and rebuilding the person.
100%. It's not a cookie cutter approach. It's not a one size fit all. I'll tell you, the one common thing that all formerly incarcerated people have in common is that they're formerly incarcerated. That's it, right? There's so many other components
Yeah.
that's very unique to their circumstances. And I think
Some of
as a
them are
service
very tall.
provider,
One of my good friends is a former NBA player,
it's crazy.
and he was part of Defy Ventures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of his turnaround. He's a good friend of mine. So you know, you never think a guy who's from the NBA, uber successful. Obviously, if you make it to the NBA, you're elite.
Yeah.
Very.
In a league of your own, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The NBA is one of the hardest professional leagues in the world to get into, and he ends up incarcerated. Yeah, there's no one size fits all. That's for sure.
This is true. So you think about people coming home from prison are needing that integrated care and service and supportive services. But again, our criminal justice problem requires more than a criminal justice solution. We were talking a little bit earlier. If you're coming out of the prison system, number one, you're 10 times more likely to be unhoused. Now, if we look at our homelessness crisis, 75%, that's three-fourths, have a criminal record. There's a big correlation,
Wow, that's a huge coalition.
a huge correlation.
Not only 10 times more likely, 75% of the homeless are formerly incarcerated. So it's almost, I mean, that's huge. It's the majority.
So we see our elected officials, you know, now beginning to pay attention to how effective prevention is.
Yeah, well, okay.
I
Yes,
mean, they're
okay.
they're beginning to
Beginnings. Okay, let's be
understand.
gracious here. Yes,
Let's
they're
gracious.
beginnings, but it's a long
I
journey.
mean, it's been a long journey, right? I
You
mean,
can't point the finger. Okay, whatever. You can't point the finger at elected officials because the elected officials represent us. So we need to all take responsibility.
so
Anyways,
we'll
yes,
use the
they're
term we.
beginning to. Yes.
We have all seen some progress in the way in which we regard the importance of homelessness prevention because there are so many different intervention points. If we think about our reentry system, that needs to be the prevention to recidivism. That is the intervention to recidivism. So if our reentry system is not fully funded and a well-oiled engine, then what are we doing? We're just putting another Band-Aid approach, tough sheds for the homelessness encampment, shelters for people coming home from prison. Where's the supportive services and helping people get prepared for independent living? We can't do any more Band-Aid approaches. It's not working. It's just we're just bleeding resources. And why are we not leveraging our data to actually collect what is happening in our communities
Lots of money.
so we can see how resources are being allocated? Where is it being wasted? Where is it being needed? At this day and age where everyone is going to have an AI agent at some point in time, a personal one that is leading their own personal, journey in life and enhancing it in such a way. I mean, we started off talking about our smartwatches, and we're not leveraging technology and data to inform how to fix a societal problem that has
And
been
we're Silicon Valley. And we have not been using these. We have not been addressing these issues.
Yeah.
While we've been changing the world and posing ourselves as we're the merciful people. We're the ones who care. That's what it's about. We're progressive. We're forward looking. We care about the disenfranchised. We now need to look in the mirror and say, we are the ones that are doing the worst of it.
I think
And
we're
regardless
causing
of
a lot
whether
harm.
exactly,
It's like another form of criminality.
but then switch it. So you have to look, you have to realize, okay, I messed myself up, but like you and I can relate. We've had points in our life where we turned around. When we turned around, we weren't addressing problems that just happened right then.
Sure.
We were finally addressing problems that we had been ignoring for a long time, and
Yeah.
they finally got bad enough
Right.
that we hit rock bottom, or at least had a wake-up call enough that we chose to address them.
I think that's a really important point.
I believe that's what gives me hope, is that if we can have this look in the mirror and realize, and I'm seeing signs of it, it's so bad that we can't incarcerate anymore. Like, it's fiscally impossible
Yeah.
to incarcerate anymore. Maybe this will be the turning point, that now we think of innovative approaches.
Yeah.
But we have to take ownership of it,
Yeah. As an organization, we work on this particular issue from both aisles. We know there are some systemic concerns and issues that need to be repaired. But we also work with the individual who is formerly incarcerated, recognizing and helping them understand the underlying factors and the causative factors that led to poor choices in the first place is ground zero. We can't build up anything else without having you acknowledge and first understanding, why did I commit this? If you can't understand why a crime was committed by you, you are destined to repeat it again.
I can tell you that deep, I mean, obviously, going into prison, my joke, my icebreakers, I've been in and out of prison for 18 years.
I love
Of
it.
course. I am
Longer than me.
I am from I'm from an entirely different demographic. You meet my parents, they're amazing. I grew up in an amazing home, middle class, wonderful. Okay. And I've never been convicted of any crime. So I've never been incarcerated. It was through playing basketball. Okay, so obviously that's a bit of a joke. But it has been completely life changing.
Yeah.
Getting to know, going from whatever your perception of it to just realize these are people, amazing people, diverse people,
Yeah.
and having an insider's look at what prison is, and what's happening, meeting building really deep relationships. What I have seen is like, oh, but you were talking about the restorative justice and understanding when Cue Ball came out, and they interviewed some of these guys who I knew. And my friend Rafael Cuevas, who's one of the stars there, and now he's out and he's working for another nonprofit in Revolution. Have you heard of them?
I think so.
Okay, they're doing also amazing work. So he's pioneering our basketball program in Valley State Prison. So when the cameras came and he didn't have to say anything, he went on this just wide open, fully transparent taking full ownership, sharing what he had done, you know, and he had, when he was a young man, angry, and he murdered another man. Like, you know, and it wasn't necessarily in his best interest, you know, it's
Sure.
like, if this is gonna be publicly everywhere, everyone's gonna know this. And then the Raphael I knew, so when you play basketball, you don't just know the surface person.
Yeah.
You know what's inside, because as soon as the game gets competitive and the
You see
rest of
their
the guy
frustration,
tall
their
and you
eyes.
throw an
Yeah.
elbow,
Oh, yeah.
whatever's hidden comes out,
I
you know?
bet.
And I was always impressed at how selfless he was,
Nice.
how empathetic he was, how, you know, we all have our egos. Like, you know, he was organizing an open gym once, and you know, I'm should be mature. I'm a pastor. You know, you get start playing. I want to play. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to play, and he's selflessly letting other guys play and not playing, always doing things like that. You know, and then I saw his journey and I saw the fruit of it. It spoke to me so deeply, because being a guy who's from the church, um, you're always disappointed at these leaders who then blow up, you know, and it turns out they were not who they said they were. It turns out they did not understand the basic foundation of what they were preaching, of repentance.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I was like, man, we should bring a whole bunch of pastors here
Yeah.
and let these incarcerated brothers teach them about what true repentance and change is.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. So yeah, and anyways, so all that was to say, I love that approach, and I've seen that,
Yeah. It's
and
important.
and how healing and transformation is coming from the inside out.
Yeah. I agree. We take a lot of care to walk people through that portion of our personal leadership development. Accountability and responsibility is huge. We are, we practice trauma informed care principles. We recognize, the science behind the behavioral science related to criminal thinking. We also recognize that, poverty as an indicator towards incarceration. We also recognize the
And people need to think of poverty as multidimensional.
sure,
You know, you have financial poverty, which everyone
this is
thinks
true.
about. You also have, you know, like motivational poverty.
This is true.
You have,
Forced poverty.
yes, you have, let's see. Oh, I'm trying to think of the four paradigms that my mentor, Ed Savosa.
Was it infrastructure?
No, he had different ones. It was financial is the one everyone thinks of. You have relational poverty. You have
Yep, the social one.
you have motivational poverty, and you have relational, motivational, possibly spiritual poverty. I think, if you use that term.
Possibly, like a higher understanding for purpose and so on. If
Yeah.
somebody's not teaching that or you don't have exposure to uh, sort of like heroes or things to aspire to.
Yeah. So when you're talking about poverty, it's not just these people don't have money. I mean, this they don't have
True.
the fatherlessness, the trauma they're being faced. You know, the a mother's, you know, born to a mother who's a heroin addict. You
True.
know, it's like these are deep, deep traumas
Yeah.
that when you understand them, it's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You know, I have no excuse, but if I had been in his shoes, I would
Yeah.
have done far worse than.
And there's great empathy that can be, bred in learning about somebody's past. We know our court system does not care about what somebody has faced or was experiencing, whether it's, you know, um, a wife who killed her, very abusive husband. The abuse doesn't get admitted into the courthouse, on very common terms. You have to like fight for, domestic violence, permitted uh, evidence to be entered in there. But what I'm saying is a lot of court systems are only looking at the criminal act. So when we get into, working with our clients and learning about their history, like there's great empathy and power of understanding what
It's combining
motivates
that
them.
empathy, but with the ownership, like
That's where we lead them to.
that's what I've learned from my friends. I mean, to me, it very much aligns with my work as a pastor, just helping anybody,
Sure.
because we all have problems and we all face consequences of problems. It's just
Yeah.
only a minority of us are do it bad enough that
Yeah.
we get involved in the criminal justice system. Okay. We all need to learn, and it's learning, understanding the roots, understanding the ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences, the
Mhm.
trauma, the depth of the trauma that led you to that place.
Sure.
But you can't use that as an excuse.
That's
You have to
exactly what we
own that
teach.
and now learn it is actually, okay, this was me. Now I have to own this. And now that gives you power because I can be healed of that and I can determine the future, choose a different future.
Yeah, that's a strong ethos of our programming is being able to let people identify this happened. Yes, maybe I made a decision based upon this, or it had some influence over justifying my choice. But at this point in time, now that you're free of not only the imprisonment, but also the past, let's make sure you're rewriting a future that is built in personal empowerment and confidence and knowing the potential you have to give back to your society in a new, refined way that is unimaginable. And we are seeing some of those great outcomes right now after serving almost 200 people through our
So
program.
talk about, so you have this
Well, I literally
integrated
say
approach.
after almost serving 200 people through our program, we are boasting a 0% recidivism rate. What does that mean? That means people going into our
100% success
program
rate.
is 100% successful. And, success really, in my opinion, is dependent on the recipient of those services. Do you feel more successful walking away from our program? Or is it just me clocking in output hours of services that I've given to? No, we want to know and make sure you feel successful.
That's
And
over
all
how
good
many years?
after going, our program is 1 year and we follow them until they no
No,
longer
no.
want to be.
How long have you? I'm wondering for the data sample
Mm,
set.
yeah. So since 2023, the top of there, over 2 years, we've served almost 200 people and no one has gone back to prison. We'll continue to follow them and make sure that they're supported and so forth. We have an 84% employment placement rate, 100% housing placement rate. So everyone that comes through our program is getting housed. They're getting moved into long-term housing program. And, these are some of the most remarkable individuals that everyone would essentially celebrate because of the transformation. I mean, we're seeing, the stacks. You've read Jeff Krasinek's book Untapped Talent related to, he did a great job um really highlighting, fair chance hiring and employers and so on, and also doing the
Okay.
study of formerly incarcerated professionals. We
Fair chance.
hiring, fair
Okay,
chance hiring,
what's the name of the book?
untapped talent.
Untapped talent.
Untapped talent. Jeff Krasinek.
That's what I've been saying. We need to re-envision this, and we're seeing bits of it already. Re-envision it not as, oh, we need to be merciful. It's a criminal justice. We need to treat people better. To no, for society to succeed,
Yeah.
we need a talented workforce.
100%.
And Silicon Valley was for a while bringing them in from overseas, A1 visas. That's expensive. That's
Yeah.
a big risk. And now they're not available to
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah.
And here we have this talent pool if we give them the right resources and re-envision it as you're not necessarily doing them a favor per se, although but you're finding a
Good for the
pool of
economy.
talent and it's good for the economy.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the statistics don't lie. Formerly incarcerated workers, professionals, individuals, however you want to classify it, if given the opportunity to showcase their skills at your company, they will, by statistics, work harder, they stay with the company longer, and they promote faster.
Absolutely. So there you go. This is one of the major myths, that employers don't have to wait for a law change or anything,
Yep.
can be open to hiring people with a record, formerly incarcerated individuals. And I would recommend partnering with a group like CROP or a group like Lao Family Community Development or Love Never Fails, a trusted group who's really good at this, because hiring anyone is a risk. But it turns out, statistically, the data to prove it, that the formerly incarcerated make better employees than their peers. They're grateful for the opportunity. They work harder. They're less likely to leave. All the things you
I got more to
that's
prove.
data.
I got a lot of
You
proof.
got yep.
So, we're really excited to, you know, oftentimes not just only present our work to other employers, inviting them into a space of considering their internal policies that they have complete control over, and looking at ways in which they can make adjustments for the best hiring practices and job retention practices for formerly incarcerated people. We offer training on it and everything, but we embody it ourselves first because we have 70% of our workforce formerly
I
incarcerated.
love that modeling what
We
you
live it and breathe it.
so you are a resource for like helping them become more trauma informed as a
Well,
organization.
we want to get them ready to hire formerly
Now,
incarcerated.
the other thing I would add to that, like this is another thing that gives me optimism. The whole what you need, the skills you as an employer need to be good in to excel at what's called, well, different things, but one thing is trauma informed workplace.
Yeah,
That these are the skills you would need to hire the formerly incarcerated. That's the same demographic as Gen Z's.
it's
It's like
true.
you need
It's
to be
true.
like this is, in other words, this is the most extreme this is an extreme example of a trend that is a sociological trend across all new employees. And for you to retain Gen Z employees, you need to give them a higher purpose. It's not just money. They're not running around for money. They want to feel a purpose and meaning. And you also have to be sensitive to them. So it's a win-win. Not only do you get a new pool of talent, but you get better at retaining your other
100%. It boosts your entire culture. It increases your ROI. It gives you, I know, it gets you a well-rounded, represented workforce. Am I allowed to say the word diverse anymore? I don't even know. With this day and age, it's
so funny.
it's
We've
like
got to
let's go back to our synonyms and find a word that actually can work for this. But essentially, um, the more uh variables you allow to enter into your workforce, the more creative input you're going to get from all walks of life for everyday problems in the job. And it's not so much about Ivy Leagues or traditional pathways to careers, but focusing on skilled first, or hiring based on skills is going to actually promote your
yeah,
business faster.
it's recruiting out of diversity because you don't know where the talent is going to come up, but then increasing, you hire and you promote based on merit. Are they good at it? But it's giving people a chance that you wouldn't
Sure.
otherwise.
Sure.
And it's getting metrics to rate people that are more aligned with reality as opposed to just these theoretical
Yeah.
metrics. Like just because you succeeded at a school doesn't mean that you are going to succeed at this workplace.
100%.
So let's give people who outside the box who maybe graduated from a different type of institution,
Mm-hmm.
give them an opportunity
So true.
and then see if they'll succeed or not.
This is so true.
Wow. So, Terah, this is amazing. You guys are getting tremendous results, leveraging your experience as lived experience and integrating the system and showing by the data that, you're saving society money and getting positive results. So how can people help you out? And you have an upcoming event, right?
Yeah, we have an upcoming signature event, which is really going to showcase the work that we've done in the reentry space and also honor the other leaders in the state of California who has done great investment in the reentry space as well. We'll be honoring our own Governor Gavin Newsom. We'll be honoring.
Will he be there?
He will not be accepting the award, but we do have a special guest that will be accepting on his behalf. We'll also be honoring Kat Taylor, who's the founder of Beneficial State Bank. We'll also be honoring J.R. Feroz, who is the vice president of SAP Academy of Engineer. in addition to Larry Miller, who is the former president of Jordan Brand. We'll be featuring a fireside chat.
Jordan Brand?
Yeah,
Wow.
Miller.
Wow,
that was
like the
more
Nike Jordan?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Is
you're
he the
gonna
one
want
who
to.
invented the Air Jordan?
No, he was the president over the Jordan Brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Matter. Wow.
And he also is, creating some more programming in this particular space. So we're giving him the Trailblazer Award. And then finally, we're gonna have a fireside chat featured by Lisa Ling, who's gonna come in and moderate this intense conversation with Larry Miller. And we'll have some great activities taking place from, fun and need paddle auctions and special performances and a very immersive experience with people who have been impacted positively by
Okay.
some of these services.
And this is September.
September 25th,
Okay.
right in Jack London Square, Oakland.
Okay. And how can people find out about this?
I can give you sort of a QR.
Org.
It's not going to be on our website as of yet, even though we should probably put it out there. It's going to be on, we're sending currently some invitations out.
Is it
So,
invitation only? Do you have to get an invitation?
I mean, no, we're spreading the word for anyone that is interested in, supporting reentry work to go ahead and join us on an evening that's going to be unforgettable.
Well, thank you so much. I want to have you back. I want to hear more about your own personal story about
Yeah.
how you ended up here. But thank you so much for all that you do, and and for being a guest. And
I
keep up the good work.
Oh, thank
God
you so
bless you.
much.